Hey, what's up, guys? Ben from MySportsStop here with Richie Donnell. Our scouting report today is on Haason Reddick from Temple.
Yeah, this is a guy who kind of showed up on the screen for a lot of people at the Combine.
Yeah.
Wasn't necessarily a well-known commodity. But what is to like about him, similar to Luke Kuechly, this guy is coming from a school that is known for their linebackers, for their defense. Same thing with Kuechly at Boston College,
Yep.
which has kind of been the quiet linebacker. Temple's the same way. They're gritty, hard-nosed, smash-mouth football, and that's going to be a big benefit for Reddick, who's a guy who can kind of move all over the place, as he was a defensive end at Temple for a little while, and then now projected as probably the top outside linebacker.
Right, and talk about some of his combine stats. He had a 4.52 40 and a 36.5-inch vertical jump.
Yeah.
That's some of the best in his group.
Yeah.
And he's a bit undersized at
Right.
237 pounds, but because of his explosiveness and just because of his athleticism,
Right.
people are accepting that he's going to be a 3-4 outside linebacker.
Right, and when you talk about the athleticism, I think one of the things that you got to look for, when you look at defensive ends, a lot of people, you don't expect a lot of tackles out of a defensive lineman, but the one thing you always look at is tackles for loss, and this is a guy that just racked him up. 22 and a half tackles for loss that number speaks for itself. I mean, that guy just lives in the backfield, and in order to get in the backfield, you have to have that next level explosion, that first quick, that ability to get off the ball and just have that innate ability to read the snap. So as soon as that ball goes up, you're getting past guys in order to make a play in the backfield, and that's something that he does very, very well.
Yeah.
That will serve him well at the next level as he makes that move to outside linebacker.
All right, so who is your NFL comparison to?
Yeah, I really couldn't. He's kind of unique in this aspect because he's undersized, but he shows that ability to like a Dwight Freeney, but in today's game, a guy like Dwight Freeney would be moved to outside linebacker had he played today.
Oh, yeah.
So that's somebody who he kind of reminds me of due to the similar size and the undersizedness. But like I said, with the game changing today, he's going to move outside and play that outside linebacker spot instead of a defensive end.
Right, and I'm going to go in the different direction. I'm going to go to a guy who currently is a 4-3 outside linebacker, Telvin Smith, for the Jaguars, and he's done a lot of good things with that team in the last couple years. But I think the thing with Reddick that makes him better than Smith in the end is his athleticism and his explosiveness. Now, would Telvin Smith be playing at a 3-4 outside linebacker? If he was on a 3-4 team, that's possible.
Right.
It's, something he could work on, but I think with Reddick, he will be drafted probably as a 3-4 outside linebacker, but that's not to say he couldn't play in the 4-3.
Right. Linebacker has become one of those positions where everything's kind of interchangeable.
Right.
Guys move around. They play DN, they play outside backer, they play inside backer. It just
really depends on the defense and where, the D coordinators want to move them around.
Right, and a lot today just has to do with what kind of athlete are you?
Absolutely.
Can you handle it?
Yeah, usually they're just going to put in their 11 best players no matter where they're
exactly.
at.
And with Reddick, I think, one of the things you got to start looking for him around the middle of the first round.
Yeah.
Value here for me is something that's kind of gotten a little out of control for him. We were just kind of talking a little bit before doing this that some guys have him pegged as a top 10 pick. I think that's a little early for him. I would say probably 15. Starting at 15 would be a great value for him. Similar. I think a lot of people would think that Bruce Irving was a stretch when he was drafted super early for the Seahawks, and now they look smart.
Yeah.
For the I think he's that same type of player that he could end up in that same middle of the first round slot.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I'm going to see him picked around 15 to 25.
Yeah.
And I think if you compared him, if he was in our top 10 defensive lineman list,
Right.
I don't know if he makes a top 5.
Right.
So I think that's something that a lot of people need to consider. Is he the best pure outside linebacker? Probably.
Right.
But, when you put him up to the rest of this defensive class, I just don't know. But I think he has the potential to be a very, very good football player.
Yeah, and then obviously that's why he's number one up against players like Takaris McKinley and Tim Williams that are also ranked highly on our list as well.
Right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to go on our website, mysportstop.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more original videos.